Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to build your absolute ultimate playbook for mastering technology in the modern classroom. And just as importantly, we're going to talk about protecting your professional digital presence. We're drawing from some of the very best frameworks and guidelines out there to really help you elevate your teaching practice in this digital age.
Look, let's be real for a second. Feeling a bit overwhelmed by the sheer mountain of digital tools out there? Yeah, that is completely normal for educators today. The landscape literally shifts constantly. But I want you to pause and reflect on your own practice right now. Is technology just a shiny add-on in your classroom? Basically just a digital replacement for a pencil? Or is it truly transforming how your students experience learning? Because that is the core question we are answering today. So here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the TPEC framework. Second, the technology integration matrix. Third, copyright and cyber piracy. Fourth, the core rules of netiquette. And finally, we'll wrap up with social media best practices.
All right, let's dive right into Chapter 1, the TPSEK framework.
So what is TPEC? It stands for Technological Pedagogical Content Knowledge. I know, it's a bit of a mouthful, but the crucial point here is that this framework ensures technology is never used in isolation. It shouldn't just be tech for the sake of tech, right? Instead, TPEC shows us that your technology must deliberately intersect with what you teach, your content, and how you teach it, your pedagogy. It's only when these three core areas of knowledge overlap that you create truly meaningful, impactful learning experiences for your students.
Let's see how this actually builds out in a real classroom scenario. Step 1 is your content knowledge. You start with what you know. Say it's a preschool science lesson on the environment and weather patterns. Okay, Step 2 introduces pedagogical knowledge. This is where you decide on a strategy. Maybe you choose a constructivist approach where students are building their own understanding of how plants grow. Then, Step 3 is where the technology knowledge comes in. You might introduce interactive ecosystem simulations where the kids can actually manipulate variables and watch the environment react in real time. And finally, Step 4, reflect and improve. You look back at the whole lesson and assess how effectively those three elements combine to maximize student engagement. It's really a continuous, evolving journey. Moving right along to Part 2, the Technology Integration Matrix.
Building on that last framework, the Technology Integration Matrix, or TIM, acts as your pedagogical roadmap. It's basically a 25-cell grid. On one axis, we've got 5 levels of technology integration, moving from entry all the way up to transformation, and then on the other axis, we have 5 characteristics of a meaningful learning environment. This matrix is absolutely crucial because it helps you, the educator, track the elevation of your students. You're aiming to move them from just passively receiving information at the entry level, like say just reading a digital PDF, all the way up to that transformation level. That's where students are using tech for innovative, higher-order learning that literally wouldn't even be possible without the technology.
Let's zoom in a little closer at those 5 characteristics that make learning so meaningful. First, active means students are actually using tools to discover things, not just passively taking in data. Collaborative means they're building knowledge together, whether that's with peers or even outside experts. Constructive allows them to connect this brand new info to prior knowledge. Authentic links the lesson directly to the real world, way beyond the classroom walls. And goal-directed means students are using tech to plan, monitor, and evaluate their own progress. When you have these 5 elements active, technology genuinely enhances learning. It's so much more than just digitizing an old worksheet.
All right, Chapter 3. Let's talk about copyright and cyber piracy.
I'm going to be completely straight with you on this one. Now that we know how to use tech pedagogically, we absolutely have to teach our students the hard rules of digital ethics. We need them to understand that downloading copyrighted songs, movies, or games for free, it's not some clever, victimless shortcut. As these conversations highlight, every single download is recorded. Everything done online can be traced back. It's a serious, illegal threat that can lead to severe consequences. We're talking massive fines or even jail time. We just cannot skip over these legal realities when we hand a student a connected device. And to really help your students navigate this space, it is vital to draw a sharp, clear contrast between these two distinct definitions. Plagiarism is taking someone else's ideas or writing and claiming it as your own. Cyber piracy, though, is specifically using a computer to copy or share digital materials, like music, movies, or software, that are protected by copyright without getting the creator's permission. By defining these illegal actions side by side like this, you're setting a really firm, unambiguous ethical boundary right there in your classroom.
Which brings us to Chapter 4, the core rules of netiquette.
Now, moving from legal threats to just basic behavioral standards, the core rules of netiquette established by Virginia Shea are honestly timeless. And they really all boil down to one major idea: remember the human. Online spaces require the exact same ethical standards and empathy that we expect face-to-face. You've got to respect other people's time and bandwidth, so don't send unnecessary chatter. Be generous, share your expert knowledge. Keep your temper in check so you avoid those toxic online flame wars. Always respect privacy, and crucially, forgive mistakes. Because remember, behind every single screen is a human being who is still learning just like you.
So, how do we put this into practice? Well, here are some highly actionable communication pitfalls you should avoid so you always look good and remain accessible online. First off, please do not use all caps. On the internet, it's literally yelling. Next, don't send attachments if the text can just go right there in the body of the email. People are rightly wary of viruses these days. Use emojis to build team spirit for sure, but keep them out of formal communications. Stick to a basic 12-point sans serif font so everyone can easily read your message. And finally, absolutely never spam your classmates or colleagues.
And finally, Chapter 5, Social Media Best Practices.
Okay, I'm going to deliver this with absolutely zero ambiguity. Do not use photos, videos, or any information about your students on your personal social media sites. This is the golden, non-negotiable rule of social media for teachers. Honestly, it doesn't matter how cute the classroom moment was or how incredibly proud you are of a student's project. To ensure student safety, protect their privacy, and safeguard your own career, their faces and information have absolutely no place on your personal social media accounts, ever.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? From the high-level pedagogy of TPAC and the TIM, all the way down to the granular details of copyright law, netiquette, and social media safety. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Ask yourself, are your own online habits reflecting the digital citizenship you expect your students to embody? Because this digital playbook isn't just a set of rules for the classroom, it's a mirror for our own continuous reflection. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope you leave here feeling empowered to lead your classroom with total confidence in the digital age.